How have you seen a person rebuild their life in a single day? My mom was addicted to drugs. I didn't see her from 6 years old to 18 years old. One day she woke up, decided she was done, and checked herself into rehab. She's almost 9 years sober now. I'm so happy for her. My mom is 10 years sober today. I remember her opening another beer, taking one sip, putting it down and saying, "I'm done." She checked herself into rehab the next day. My dad joined about 3 months later. Both are completely different people, and I can't imagine our relationship being what it is today if they continued to drink. For years, my sister had a super toxic friendship with a girl that epitomized narcissistic and manipulative behavior. My sister was constantly down on herself, exhausted from taking care of her, and feeling depressed because she felt like she was a failure of a friend. Then one day, after a phone call, she slammed down the phone and said, "I'm done with her. I swear I saw weights sliding down her shoulders and shackles falling off of her. She's just so much better off now. Don't stick with friendships just because you've known each other for a long time." There was this kid at my high school. He had no friends, never talked to anyone, but everyone knew who he was because he read the announcements over the PA system each morning. On his last day, he made a short, but incredibly moving speech looking back on what his high school experience meant to him, his successes, failures, and lessons learned, and dreams for the future. Though he had some of the highest grades, he said that his one regret was that he never made any friends. Everyone was touched by his speech. It was honestly beautiful. That day he made a ton of friends, including myself. He was a super intelligent and funny person, and very interesting to talk to. I went to the same college as him, and you'd never know he was that nerdy kid with no friends in high school. He had a big social circle, and still got good grades. An overall well-rounded person and super cool guy. Kicked my ex out of my apartment, packed my own stuff the same day and moved back home until I could move again. In just 3 hours I went from feeling hopeless and afraid to being in a safe place with constant security. 2 big dogs, at least 2 people awake at all times, and he didn't know where it was. That person is me, and it was yesterday. I had my diagnosis of narcolepsy confirmed, and was prescribed Provigil. I popped one of those beautiful babies the second I exited the pharmacy. Typical day before medication. Get home from work, sleep, try to do something, fall asleep, more sleep, try to clean the house, sleep, try to play with my kids, sleep instead. After kids are in bed, take a shower, fall asleep in the shower. Yesterday, get home, call on a job opportunity, mow the lawn, laundry, dishes, put together my daughter's bike, pay bills, balance checkbook, budget, see math floating off things for a few minutes, put dinner on, take my daughter for a bike ride, read a book to the kids as they laid down for bed, played a video game, wrote notes for a book one want to write, more book reading. I am a the 24th of July 365 single dad with 3 kids. Every time I've stopped to appreciate the change today, I cry. Everywhere I look now, I see opportunity. I am intelligent, and now, I have the energy to do anything. My freshman year of high school there was this awful bully who would make life hell for anyone he could. He was almost cartoonishly mean and cruel. I truly hated him. The next year a teacher whom the bully respected pulled him aside and told him that he was too smart to be acting that way and that he was going to end up friendless and in jail if he continued that behavior. Literally the next day at school this kid starting trying to make amends with people he'd terrorized, myself included. He started taking his schoolwork seriously and started standing up for other people and trying to be as kind as possible to others around him. 18 years later he's still one of my dearest friends in the world. I'd take a bullet for that dude. I had a cousin who was pretty wild. He sold drugs, partied a lot, adrenaline junkie. The whole family had the idea that he'd be dead before 40. However, one day he decided to move across the country and become a cop. I did. I found proof my ex was cheating. Later that day I booked a ticket to Nashville to hang out with 2 of my best friends. My ex never allowed me to travel or do anything by myself, so this was huge. When he got home from work that night, I told him I was leaving him and going out of town. I left in the morning feeling better than I had in years. Had an awesome time with my friends. Came back, packed my stuff, moved out. Found a better job. Bought my own car, wasn't allowed to have one, and then bought my own house. Adopted way too many pets. Met my now fiancé. Got on the depression and anxiety meds I should have started years ago, and life is pretty damn good. All because I saw my ex's interns on his phone and booked that ticket. Earlier this year, my son was unceremoniously dumped by a long-term girlfriend who cheated on him. The whole situation just obliterated him. Further complicating things is a tight rental market, which meant he had to stay with my daughter for a month while he tried to find a place to live. But find a place he did, and it was pet-friendly, so he got to take his pets with him. The day he moved in, he was like a brand new person. He'd had some time to deal with the heartbreak, and in the meantime had taken a second part-time job on top of his regular job that lets him use his musical talent. Moving day was a great day for him, but it was also a great day for me, because it was something I couldn't have imagined in those awful days immediately following the breakup. My brother was always getting in fights at school. Fort teacher even knocked out a cop once who was pushing his buttons. Stealing, skipping school, racing, and just reckless. I hated him, and everyone thought he'd be in jail for sure and dead a little after. Got a girl pregnant. Immediately stepped up, married her a few years later after he made sure he loved her. House, 70-kish job, sis-in-law good job, second kid, little to no debt, and I like being around him now. When my brother died, everyone in the family was devastated, but it hit my parents the most. Losing a child isn't supposed to happen, it's just not. My dad had to write my brother's obituary for the newspaper and worked on this short piece for hours and hours. He's written small things before, but not something like that. I think writing that piece reminded him that his son was a writer. He'd written a comic book, a play, and was working on his first novel too. My dad was still really sad, but I think that was a pivotal moment for him. It gave him drive and passion after such a horrible experience. My dad now loves to write and has taken classes so he can create better stories. He's so proud when he finishes an essay or short story, and I can see that he's doing better. The obituary, by the way, was the best I've ever read and honored the rebellious nature my brother had perfectly. It was the day my friend finally worked up the courage to get her GED. She had been out of school for over 20 years and was afraid of failure, I guess. It made no sense as she is very intelligent. I hated seeing her in a minimum wage job where she was treated like a dummy. She is currently finishing up her bachelor's degree and will go on to get her master's. Her confidence has improved and she has opened herself up to better job opportunities. I'm proud of her, and it blows me away when I remember myself begging her to suck it up and get that damn GED. My ex-Chief's sister was a bit overweight and a bit self-conscious about it and quite shy-ish. However, also a great fun person. Anyway, I remember one day, she just has some sort of epiphany. She decided she is going to hang out with some people she met at the local university she met. And she did. And she went out more and more and had a lot of fun and really changed her attitude and her social activities. She dated, married, and has 2 kids with one of those friends. And is today just as great a person as she was before, but not kind of lonely or shy anymore. Now is that rebuilding? I don't know. It was a person who decided, I know what I want. I think I'll go and get it, and she really did. My best friend from high school had really bad mental health and suffered through it basically the whole time I knew him, from 16 to 18 years old. I remember that last summer before going to university he was getting rapidly worse but got the courage to check himself into therapy. He was instantly under close watch and treatment. Obviously it's not a single day and his mental health will always have shaky times, but since he got himself up, he has managed to go to university, make some amazing friends, and even get an amazing girlfriend. We don't talk often as we have separate lives at separate universities, but I am still so proud of him and the decision he made to get himself help that day. That person was me, and that day was today. Yesterday I was stuck in 2 dead-end jobs that I hated, and I had a few thousand in credit card debt. I was exhausted after a frustrating 50-hour work week. Today I was able to make a huge credit card payment. increase my credit limit, and I got offered a new job. I'm also going to a friend's house later to drink and paint some. So it's been a fantastic day so far. I let a guy go 2 years ago. He was a great salesman but very hard to work with and bad for the team. I met him at a fundraiser a couple weeks ago, and he told me that he got let go. He found some Indian website spammers, offered to sell their services for half the revenue, and his company selling outsourced IT services has since then made him richer than anyone he used to work for. He said that with his skill set he could have survived in any situation, but was too scared and too brainwashed to leave the safety of a big corporation. I'm probably in the same boat.